My name is Avery Collins. I'm 31 years old. And for 8 months, I didn't realize I was slowly being priced. Not in obvious ways. Not at first. It started as jokes. Comments said with a smile, followed by a kiss, softened by laughter. The kind of remarks you're supposed to laugh along with so you don't seem insecure. You're so simple, my boyfriend would say, flipping through my closet. Not cruel, not loud, just amused. His name was Lucas Hale. We met at a mutual friend's rooftop birthday party. String lights, overpriced drinks, the city glowing like it was trying to impress us. Lucas had that effortless confidence that comes from being admired often. He worked in fashion PR, knew everyone, dressed like someone who'd never worried about overdraft fees. I worked in software compliance. Long hours, stable pay, quiet life. At first, I thought we balanced each other. Looking back, I think he thought he was settling. Lucas liked to remind me, subtly, that his world was larger than mine. His friends traveled constantly. Paris, Mykonos, Ibiza. Mine talked about mortgages and promotions and happy hours that ended by 10. When he commented on my apartment, "It's cute, actually, small but cozy," I smiled and said thank you. When he laughed about my car, "You still drive that?" I shrugged. I told myself love was compromise. My best friend warned me. "She talks to you like you should be grateful," she said once. I defended him immediately. "He's just blunt." I didn't realize bluntness can still cut. The Santorini trip started as a fantasy, a scrolling ritual on his phone. Photos sent to me during work hours. "Everyone's been," he said one night. "It's embarrassing I haven't." That word stuck with me, embarrassing. Last Tuesday, he came over while I was working from home. I was knee-deep in code when he sat down at my kitchen table, already opening his laptop. "We need to talk about Greece." "Can it wait?" I asked. "I'm in the middle of something." "No, I want to go in 2 weeks." 2 weeks? I closed my laptop slowly. "I don't know if I can get the time off." "Then I'll go alone," he said casually. "You'll still pay." I laughed at first. I honestly thought he was joking. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." He turned the screen toward me. Luxury hotel, business class flights, spa packages. "It's only 12,000. "Only." I told him no. That's when he said it. He leaned back, arms crossed, smile sharp. "You're lucky I even date you, Avery. Men like you don't get women like me." Something in me went quiet. Not angry, clear. I reached into my wallet, slid my card across the table. "Go ahead," I said. "Book it." His face lit up. And in that moment, watching him type, watching him assume, I finally understood everything. Lucas didn't just book the trip. He performed it. His fingers moved fast over the keyboard like he was conducting an orchestra, clicking through tabs, comparing suites, upgrading flights, adding little touches that weren't little at all. "Look at this one," he said, turning the screen to me again. "A private suite, infinity pool, white walls glowing in the photos like a promise. This is the vibe. If we're going right." I nodded once, barely. Inside, something steady was happening, like a bolt tightening. He chose business class without hesitation. Then the resort. Then spa credits. Private sunset cruise. Wine tastings. Romantic dinner on the cliff. He added it like a garnish. The total climbed higher than 12,000. 14,000 and change by the time he hit confirm. He didn't flinch. He didn't ask, "Are you sure?" He didn't even look guilty for a second. He just smiled, triumphant, like he'd won something he was always entitled to. "There," he said, closing the laptop with a satisfied snap. "Done. I'm so excited." Then he leaned in and kissed my cheek, soft, affectionate, practiced. "You won't regret this." Or maybe he meant, "I won't let you regret it." He stood and grabbed his bag like the conversation had ended cleanly, like I'd finally learned my role. "I need to go shopping," he added, already halfway to the door. "New outfits, new shoes. This trip is going to be insane." He paused, looking back at me with a grin. "Want to take me to dinner? Celebrate?" "I can't," I said. "I have work." His smile twitched, barely. Disappointment, irritation, something real. Then it smoothed out again. "Okay, text me later." And he left. The door clicked shut. The apartment went still. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time, staring at the faint reflection of myself in the dark screen of my laptop. I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt stupid. Not because he booked the trip, because he didn't hesitate, because he genuinely believed he could talk to me that way, and still take what he wanted. I replayed the sentence again. "You're lucky I even date you." I pictured him saying it to someone else, to anyone else, and I knew what they would have done. They would have slammed the door. They would have yelled. They would have thrown the card back at him like it was poison. But I didn't. Not because I was weak. Because part of me needed to see how far he'd go if I handed him the rope. And Lucas went all the way. $14,000 worth. I picked up my phone. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. That was the strangest part. How calm I was. Like the emotion had already happened weeks ago, and my body was just now catching up. I called my credit card company first. When the representative answered, I spoke evenly. "Hi," I said, "I need to dispute a charge." They asked for the amount. I read it off from the confirmation email Lucas had CC'd me on, because of course he had. He wanted me to see it. He wanted me to witness my obedience. "It's about 14,200, I said. They asked if I knew who made the charge. Yes. They asked if I authorized it. No. A pause. "You're reporting this as fraud?" I let the word sit there, heavy, accurate. I gave him the physical card, I said carefully, but I did not consent to that amount. There was no agreement. He booked it anyway. The representative didn't argue. They didn't laugh. They didn't tell me I was being dramatic. They asked follow-up questions, then said the words that felt like a door locking. "We're canceling the card now. We'll issue a new number. The charges will be flagged and reversed if still pending." I thanked them. Then I called the resort. A woman with a calm voice answered. I gave her the confirmation number. "Yes," she said, "I see the reservation." I swallowed once. Not from fear, from disgust. "Cancel it," I said. There was a policy. Of course there was. Cancellation fee. Non-refundable. Only 2 weeks out. "I understand," I said. "But if the card declines, what happens?" Another pause. "If the payment method fails, the booking will automatically cancel." "Thank you," I said. Then the airline. Same story. No refunds. But declined payment meant no ticket. By the time I ended the third call, the sun had shifted outside my windows. The day had continued like nothing happened. People drove past. Dogs barked. Somewhere, someone laughed. And in my apartment, I sat alone with one clear thought. Lucas thought he'd won. He thought I'd caved. He didn't realize he'd just handed me proof. I finished my work that night like normal. Ordered takeout. Answered emails. Signed off on documents. The kind of boring routine Lucas loved to mock. At around 8, my phone buzzed. A text from him. A photo of shopping bags sprawled across a bed like trophies. "Lucas, got so many cute outfits for the trip, I'm going to look unreal in Santorini." I stared at the message. Then I typed back, "Me, can't wait." 3 words. A lie so clean it didn't even feel like one. Because the truth was, I couldn't wait either. Not for Greece. For tomorrow morning. I went to bed with my phone on the nightstand and my heart strangely steady. I didn't sleep well. Not from guilt. From anticipation. Sometime after midnight, I saw the first notification. A reversal. Then another. Then another. The charges one by one began collapsing like a row of dominoes. $14,000 worth of entitlement, quietly declining in real time. And I knew, without even seeing his face yet, Lucas was going to wake up thinking he was about to board a plane into a dream. But at the airport, he was going to meet reality instead. My alarm went off at 5:30 a.m. I didn't need it. I'd been half awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, listening to the city hum beneath my window, like nothing extraordinary was about to happen. Lucas's flight was scheduled for 6. He'd texted me the night before, giddy, getting up at 3:30. Too excited to sleep. Wish you were coming. I made coffee. Strong. Black. Sat at my kitchen table with my phone face down, waiting. The call came at 6:47. I let it ring twice before answering. "What the hell did you do?" Lucas snapped, his voice sharp, breathless, already unraveling. "Good morning," I said calmly. "Don't good morning me. My flights are canceled. The airline says there's no ticket under my name. The resort has no record of my reservation. I'm at the airport, Avery. What is going on?" I took a sip of coffee. "Sounds like the charges didn't go through." A beat. "What do you mean didn't go through? You approved them. You watched me book everything." "I watched you book them," I corrected. "I didn't agree to keep them." "You gave me your card." "Yes, and you spent $14,000 without permission." "That's insane," he said, laughing once. Too loud, too forced. "You can't just cancel someone's trip like this." "I can," I replied. "It was my card, my money. I disputed the charges as fraud." There it was. The silence. Then quieter, controlled, dangerous. "Fraud, I'm your boyfriend." I smiled, though he couldn't see it. Boyfriends don't say things like, "You're lucky I even date you," right before demanding $14,000. "I was joking," he said quickly. "You took it the wrong way." "No," I said. "You meant it. And honestly, thank you for saying it out loud." His voice rose. "You're overreacting. This is humiliating. I'm standing at the airport." "You're standing at an airport because you assumed my silence was consent." People are looking at me, he hissed. Do you know how this makes me look? That was it. That was the question he chose. I set my mug down. I'm done, Lucas. We're done. You can't break up with me over this, he said, panic seeping through. This is just a misunderstanding. No, I said. This is clarity. Avery, please, he said, suddenly soft. I didn't mean it like that. I was excited. I got carried away. Then call one of those men you could be dating instead, I replied. See if they'll book you a flight. You're really doing this? He asked, at the airport. I'm really choosing myself, I said. Don't contact me again. I hung up. Blocked his number. Blocked his social media. Blocked the version of myself that would have apologized just to keep the peace. 7 minutes later, an unknown number called. I didn't answer. A voicemail followed. Avery, it's Lucas. I'm calling from someone else's phone. Please pick up. You can't just leave me stranded. Please. I deleted it without listening again. By 8:30, my phone rang. It was Maya, the mutual friend who'd introduced us. Avery, she said carefully. Lucas just called me. He's crying. Says you canceled his trip and broke up with him at the airport. That's not the whole story, I said. Do you want to tell me your version? So I did. The comments, the entitlement, the insult, the $14,000. Maya went quiet. Jesus, she finally said. I had no idea he talked to you like that. Most people don't, I replied. He saves it for private. I'm so sorry, she said. I wouldn't have set you up if I'd known. I know, I said. Just don't set him up with anyone else. She let out a small, stunned laugh. Trust me, I won't. The rest of Wednesday was quiet. Too quiet. I worked, ate lunch, answered emails. Then the screenshots started coming in. Lucas had posted a story about betrayal, about being humiliated by someone he trusted, about being stranded at an airport by a cruel prank. The comments were split. Sympathy from people who only saw his smile. Skepticism from those who knew him better. One of my friends commented something simple. Maybe mention the part where you told her she was lucky to date you right before booking a $14,000 trip on her card. The comment disappeared within minutes. So did my friend, from Lucas's followers list. Thursday morning, I got a call I didn't expect. Hello, this is Marianne Hale, the woman said, Lucas's mother. I closed my eyes briefly. I'm calling to see if there's a way to resolve this situation, she continued. Lucas said you had a disagreement and things escalated. Did he tell you what he said to me? I asked. She hesitated. He mentioned a comment that was taken the wrong way. He told me I was lucky to date him, I said evenly, that I was out of my league. Then he demanded I pay for a $14,000 trip. Silence. That doesn't sound like Lucas, she said softly. It is, I replied. He just doesn't talk that way in public. Another pause. I will speak to my son, she said finally. I apologize for his behavior. Thank you, I said, but I'm not interested in reconciliation. That night, an email arrived. Formal, polished, carefully worded. An apology. A request to meet. A suggestion that canceling the trip was extreme. I read it twice, then closed my laptop, because I already knew what I was going to say. I waited until Friday morning to respond. Not because I needed time to cool down, but because I wanted to be absolutely sure that what I felt wasn't anger or pride or some temporary surge of self-righteousness. It wasn't. It was certainty. Lucas's email read like a performance review, careful phrasing, neutral tone, just enough apology to sound mature, not enough to accept responsibility. He regretted his word choice. He valued our connection. He believed we could work through this misunderstanding. There was even a paragraph about the financial impact of my decision, framed as if we'd both suffered equally. I typed my reply once, deleted it, then typed it again, shorter this time. Lucas, I appreciate the apology, but I'm not interested in reconciliation. What you said reflected how you see me. I believe people when they show me who they are. You spent my money without permission after insulting me. I disputed the charges because that is what it was. Please don't contact me again. Avery, I sent it. That was the last direct communication between us. He tried twice more. Once through a mutual acquaintance, just to talk, apparently. Once by showing up at my apartment building. The doorman called upstairs. There's a man here asking for you, he said. Lucas? No, I replied. Please tell him to leave. I watched from my window as he stepped back onto the sidewalk, phone pressed to his ear, pacing like someone who still believed persistence was charming. It wasn't. Maya told me later that Lucas had been telling people I emotionally manipulated him, that I dangled a luxury trip in front of him and ripped it away to punish him. Some people believed him. Most didn't. And I realized something important in those weeks after. I didn't need everyone on my side. I just needed to be on my own. I started seeing my friends again, the ones I'd slowly drifted from because Lucas thought they were low energy. I went out without checking my phone. I slept better. I laughed more. 3 weeks later, I met someone new at a coffee shop. His name was Daniel. He was a middle school teacher, warm, a little awkward, thoughtful in a way that wasn't performative. On our first date, he insisted on splitting the bill, not as a statement, not to prove anything, just because that was normal to him. The difference hit me harder than any grand gesture ever could. One afternoon, about a month after everything, I ran into Lucas at a grocery store. We made eye contact across the produce section. He looked like he wanted to say something, an apology, a complaint, a final attempt to be heard. I picked up my apples and walked away. Some conversations only exist to pull you backward. 2 months later, my life is quieter. Better. Lucas is dating someone new, someone from his industry, someone with money to burn, according to what I've heard. I hope she knows what she's signing up for. Because the thing about people who tell you you're lucky to have them is this: they really believe it. They think their presence is a favor, their affection is a reward, and your job is to be grateful enough not to question the cost. I'd rather be alone. The airport incident, maybe it was harsh. Maybe it was petty, but it was also honest. For 8 months, Lucas treated me like an ATM with emotions. I didn't scream, I didn't beg, I didn't make a scene. I just stopped paying. And sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't elaborate. It's simply refusing to be used anymore.